person where they do even no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, my people make you shout. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come, man of the masses. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo
yo. Hello there.
Mayegun la wa mo, la mo do 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 do. Mayegun la wa mo, la mo do 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 do. Ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará yìí. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Lórí ṣe ń lọ ní Mayegun dá wa sí. Àṣírí ọ̀dẹ̀lú.
Thank you so much for joining me from wherever you are watching or joining. Please read the caption of the broadcast, the description of the broadcast. Share it. And by sharing it, that means you are inviting your friends and your not so friendly friends, even family, to join us and tell them, Mayegun today.
YouTube. And yes, right. And yes, right.
Thank you so much. Atiku has released another statement bordering on this dear alliance. And I want us to kind of review that too.
Yes, right.
I should share this broadcast.
Yes, right. Yes, right.
Thank you very much. In Kolu's voice. Listen, if you are new to Mayegun's diary political, okay, somehow you may find the the starting taking too long. I've had people say that many times, okay? But there's something you need to know. There are many programs on Mayegun's diary political. And for now, more than 80% of the videos produced on Mayegun's diary political are produced live. And we kind of liken ourselves in this temple like we are a community, while I am the preacher. So if you are expecting the congregation to come on and arrive one by one, two by two, so we do give them time, because a lot of people are not going to start with us. Immediately we go live. And that is why we give everyone time to join us, settle down, and then we go straight into it. So if you are watching the replay on Mayegun's diary political and you don't like the music, because the music itself is a message, if you listen to it very well. But if you are the type that's, so impatient, or you are watching from Nigeria, Okay? I don't think watching Mayegun use the first 10 minutes to get everyone or majority of the people to have joined. Okay? So, but don't worry. There will be short clips for the people who don't have that too much attention span. Those who can really, you know. And on Mayegun's diary Politico, it is very, very expressive. I am very, very expressive. And that simply means I present my program not like your scripted regular, TV or social media stuff, okay? I present my program by telling story. And if you are the type who don't like, all this one are story. So your attention span may not be for this platform, okay? But if you give it time, you're going to love it. Yeah. Just sequence it, see how you join and all that. So I could go on. I mean, I may be talking about something about this microphone. But in order to hit home my point, I may make references by digressing. So that is why it is mostly storytelling. But a lot of people kind of love it because it gets you to understand the issue kind of better, like by putting yourself in the picture and imagine how is it going to be like if you are the one that is being talked about in this instance. Oh, on this platform, in this community, sorry about that, we have managed to keep people's consciousness active. And I promise you, a lot of people appreciate that. So if you give it time, I'm talking to those who are new now. If you give it time, you will love it. Because a lot of people believes they know Nigeria, but they don't. Even myself, I thought I knew Nigeria, but I didn't. Until I actually paid enough to detail, not just riding and flying on the words of politicians, of your pastorpreneurs, of your sheikh, imams, and the rest of them, or Babalawo, Mamalawo, and all those you call the elder statesmen. And that is why they said, if Nigeria is explained to you, to your better understanding, and you are not angry, no, it wasn't properly explained to you. A lot of Nigerians have questions based on the little they know. And everywhere, they speak the same tongue of, yeah, our problem is leadership. Oh, our people are too poor. In fact, managing to connect the dots. But not many have been able to put themselves in the picture. You know us, the moment we can have an alternative, and no matter how horrible things that are being reported, as long as it is yet to affect us, well, we can meet on Sunday for Thanksgiving for the grace of God. So what we do on this platform is to go beyond and above the headlines, the stories, most of them including busting the propaganda of those who have failed in their responsibility as government. So that's what we do on this platform. So it can be boring. And sometimes people say it can be depressing, not by myself, but because of what they come to realize or understand. Answers to majority of your questions. So we now believe that the moment we are all conscious enough, whether you are rich or not rich, poor or not poor, whether you are educated or not that educated, right? Whether you are so exposed, well-traveled, or you are local, it doesn't matter. The moment our consciousness becomes so active politically, you remember I told you on this platform that you need to pay attention to politics, because politics decides and determines everything. Government, apologies to you, the religious people, because I do not mean to sort of condescend, okay? And I want you to please take that apology from the sincere part of me, okay? About what I'm about to say. It is not to condescend on you, all right? Government is more powerful than whatever God that you believe in, with evidence. And again, I'm not trying to undermine your belief in God, okay? With evidence. A government can wipe out and criminalize even that your religion. You can be jailed, you can be killed the moment somebody says that your religion is no longer acceptable. And your God cannot save you. Now, just that. Then a government, when you see if you understand what a government means, like a system, they are to be the ones to decide the standard or the quality of education, then access to it. Who will have access to what education? Government will determine that. Your government will determine when you are born and when you are dead. Yeah, they issue you birth certificates and they issue you death certificates, Abi. Also, a government has so much power, right, that it's the one that issues you your currency, the one that buys you everything you might desire. Now, the quality of people that goes into government, they really, really matter. And that is why where people are spending so much, despite their education or exposure, but they are still so much drowning in the bigotry, ethnicism, and religious fanaticism, where poverty, sort of thrives. And the amount of their education could not curb or end poverty or all these maladies facing Nigeria, because they are so invested in things that has no real value to them in reality. And they will kill themselves for it. So now, if people are conscious enough that you can still be very godly, religious, and at the same time sensible, without having to be a fighter for God, a strong fighter for God, who is so lazy to fight for himself, even in the face of a brazen oppression, it's because that faithful person or religious person is not politically conscious. The government's policy will destroy education. It will destroy your businesses. It will destroy your hard work. Your effort will be so devalued by people who can't create wealth. And that is how important. That is why you see people who goes into government in Nigeria, they will foam in mouth, tell you how ethnicism has divided us. Religious has sort of divided us. Tribalism is our problem. But when you look at their modus operandi, this is the source of their power. They promote them. They sponsor them. They ensure that people remain divided as much as possible. Even within a small enclave called states, you see so much monumental division orchestrated by politicians because you have allowed criminals to be in charge of your government, making critical decisions that are affecting millions of lives, while millions of people are so religiously conscious. They are so tribally, angered or triggered But meanwhile, the poverty that is facing everybody is not sparing anyone, whether you are a Christian or a Muslim, a Northerner, a Southerner, a Yoruba, Igala, Isoko, Nupe, Tifi, Berom, Jokun, Hausa, Fulani, and wherever, then Igbo, or Ijo, Ishekiri, wherever you come from, you can live in denial. The moment you walk outside, you will see the failure of different criminals that has taken or been in charge of every institution in that contraption. Some people believe there are exceptions. How? When you have majority of the criminals you put in your system have empowered, or sorry, they have managed to arrogate so much power to themselves that they have become so powerful and more powerful than the people they were supposed to be representing. So then some people want to do the right thing within that. But you can tell from the north to the south, from the east to the west, everywhere the poverty stares you in the face, the insecurity scares you to death, right? The dilapidated infrastructures ranging from roads to rail, to schools, to hospitals, to important infrastructures are so much depleted because you have allowed criminals that have used the biases of your tribe, the bias of your ethnic, your religion, and so many other sundry stuff to cower you and kept you divided so that they can continue to keep power. Political consciousness. The moment a lot of you begin to understand that everything is political and even your religion is also political, and the moment you are so conscious enough, the less you'll be played or be vulnerable to be played. And that is why you are on Mayegun's Diary Politico, where you are going to be reading beyond the headlines. And you are also going to be seeing the characters parading themselves as those in charge of Nigeria, ridicule themselves. Embarrass some of you to the point that you laugh. You laugh to scorn in most cases, right? These are the clowns who are going to determine and decide what your future, my future will be like if we continue to stay aloof or maybe pretend that if it is not happening to me, maybe it is just being exaggerated. No, it is not. Now, here is another part. A lot of us have different solutions to what we believe could help to save our species. The first discovery is that Nigeria is a lie. And there is no amount of denial that is going to change this lie to truth. But the main question you should ask yourself is this. If Nigeria was to be a great country, okay, as they tell you that Nigeria will be great one day, if Nigeria was to be a great country, in your own opinion, I'm not trying to, I want you to kind of feel neutral now, what I'm about to push to you, okay? If Nigeria was to be a country, shouldn't Nigerians have a say in that foundation? Okay, you don't have to answer that, all right? But here is the next one. Have you, by any means, seen any country created by the colonialists that are still practicing Okay, maybe not the French ones who have now liberated themselves somehow, right? Have you seen any, probably the British created countries, okay, that still kind of exist on the template of the minority, feeling the entitlement to control the majority as a means of balance of power? Do you? Okay, you don't also have to answer that, because sometimes some of these questions, right, they are rhetorical questions. They answer themselves. You are likely going to say no, or maybe yes with examples. But let me put it this way. Nigeria has over 250 identified ethnic nationalities and tribes. So let's kind of break that down for the layman's understanding. Tribes are the small group of people, okay, who speaks the same language, culture, right? Ethnic, when they say ethnic group, this is like the group of tribes who shares a lot in common, like language, culture, tradition, maybe religion, and they may have a lot, or again, because they also shares ancestral, affinity with themselves in a particular geographical settlement. An example is this: when they say Igbos, within the Igbos, you are going to see other smaller tribes, okay, who are part and parcel of Igbo people as a larger body of the Igbos. Another one is the Yorubas. When you look at the Yorubas, the Yorubas are the conglomeration of tribes who share so much in common. And for so long, historically, right, and with this affinity and land and all that, right, they've existed as kingdoms. As kingdom before the advent of the colonialist. So within Yoruba land, for example, you will see the Ijebus, you see the Oyos, the Egbas, you will see the Ekitis, you will see the Ondos, you will see the Oshuns, and you will see people also from the Ikales, the Eguns, and this conglomeration of us, right? Dialects is what makes us a little bit differ. And that is the tongue, which a lot of us call the accent, kind of, the dialect of how I'm going to pronounce a bottle. So what another person who is also a Yoruba will pronounce a bottle. No, because of this, right? You can now say, oh, the Hausas, you have the Hausas, okay? Within the Hausas, you have other tribes within the Hausas who identify as a body of a kingdom of Hausas. You have the Kanuris. Within that space of the Kanuris, you also, like that. These are like ethnic groups, right? But within them, they have different tribes that they share affinity in lands, language, religion, tradition, and so many. This is why they said, if Nigeria, breaking up of Nigeria, okay, is to say all of us that are forced to this contraption today. And if you want to know how this contraption is in fact created based on the political arrangement of the British, let me remind you. You see the Adamawa you see today, who is part of Nigeria today, is originally supposed to be under the French Cameroon. And you see today's Bakassi Peninsula, southern Cameroon. You see the entire southern Cameroon where they speak English is supposed to be part of Nigeria today. But because when Uthman Dan Fodio staged his jihad against the leaders of the Hausas in 1807 or thereabout, when the jihad started, and the Fulanis accused the Hausa leaders of being corrupt